Hi guys! So here is the paint skin from the big line silhouette. It created a huge paint skin. I just want to show you, so an important thing is to make sure you're really careful on the edges. Look how close it came to the edge here. Usually what I'll do is I'll just prop something up, like when I do the paint skin, I'll do this kind of and just prop up the edge so that it doesn't get that close, but I didn't think it was going to go that close. But it created this really pretty paint skin, which is now all dry. So first thing, so what I'm going to do is cover this sketchbook with it. So this is a 8.5 by 11 inch sketchbook just from Michael's, and I just got it with a black cover, but I'm going to cover this with the paint skin. But first I have to clean the silicone off of the paint skin. So to do that I need a little bit of isopropyl alcohol. So you can pick this up anywhere, Michael's or Walmart. Michael's doesn't have it. Walmart or wherever. And it's super cheap. They even have it on Amazon. You can get a whole bunch of bottles on Amazon of it. And I just pour a little bit onto some paper towel. And you'll see when you look in the light, you'll see like where the shiny parts are. Like right here, there's silicone here. So first off, I'm just going to give it a good wipe over the whole thing. So you'll see I did get a little bit off, but not really that much. Now, important thing to note is not to re-wipe again right away. So you want to let all that alcohol evaporate so that you don't, because if I was to re-wipe now, it would smear and it would wreck it a bit. Because you can feel it, it's a little bit tacky because we just put a layer of isopropyl alcohol on. So it just takes a few minutes and it'll evaporate. But this is how you clean your canvases too. You just take a little bit of the isopropyl alcohol, just like that, and you'll just wipe it. And this is how I clean the silicone off of all my canvases and everything. Super simple. See, it's already, if I touch it again, now it's already dry. So now I want to go back into areas where there was a lot of silicone, like right here, right over here, and I just want to give it a little bit of extra love to try and get that silicone off. So far most of it's pretty good, it was just this little area here. And if I kind of touch that, we think we kind of got it. So I just made sure not to go over that area because I already wiped it. Just a good note, because otherwise you will take off quite a bit of paint. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to let that evaporate. So I had mixed up a lot of extra paint because I wanted to create a really big paint skin, because I knew that I wanted to cover a larger book. Some of the other paint skins I've done are smaller, so they covered smaller books. But this one I wanted to do the large book, so that's why I mixed it up. And working on the Loli Vifi mat, I'm going to show you how easy it is to peel off this paint skin. Super easy. Just going to make sure you guys can see. Oh yeah, perfect. So I'm going to take this part off. This was just a small chunk I had done in yellow and black to use for some jewelry. So this little piece has nothing to do with the larger piece of paint skin, so I don't really need it. So I'm just going to cut it off. But you can see it was super easy just to peel that off right away. I have another paint skin going over there already. And with this one, because it's actually quite thick, you just take a little edge and just peel it right up. And you're going to see that it's gonna peel off really easy. Like so. And voila, we have a beautiful, huge paint skin to work with. Now when I put it down, it kind of does stick back to the silicone because this is pretty fresh. Pretty fresh paint skin. But it's really pretty. And it's going to make a great book cover. And you'll see the gold has dried down, so the Floetrol is clear. So you can't really see, it's not milky color, the gold. It's now like a true gold, which is pretty awesome. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off of the mat. And we're just going to move the mat for this one. There we go. Perfect. Just like so. And now I gotta decide exactly what portions of it I want on the book and where I kind of want to position it. So I gotta take this sticker off of the book because we don't need that. I really love this portion of it. Now, other things you can do is, if you wanted to, you could cut a circle out of your paint skin and just put the circle on the front of your book. You don't have to cover the whole book with your paint skin. You could decoupage, you could do like a flower design if you wanted to, just cutting out pieces. Lots of different options. I think I really like, because my book is tall, I'm going to see how this is going to work. If I have enough to cover it. So you just want to lay it down and you kind of want to decide what you want where. What you want to show up on your book, what's going to fit. And then you fold, I'm just going to fold it over and see how this, the front of this would fit. See, like the back, not quite stretched enough, but sometimes I will leave that edge because it's kind of cool. So it's up to you really if you want to just leave the border of the paint skin like this, or you want to pull it and stretch it over, or you want to move it so that it actually fits the whole front of the book. Because if I did it this way, I could probably get it to fit the whole front of the book. And sometimes I've done it like this, where I'll leave the corners, which is kind of cool. I kind of like that. So maybe I'll do it where I leave the corners. Let's just see here. Trying to work out with the cells I like and with the patterning what's going to show up on my book and what I will be losing from the book cover. So that's kind of the front. Then the back would kind of, it would still leave the corners. I don't mind that actually. Cool. And the front is looking really pretty. Now for the inside, we haven't glued anything down yet, but this would fold over just a little bit. And you could leave it just like that, or you could put a piece of paper over it. But I think I might just fold it over. Just like so. Now I did get some blue. Little blue flecks in there, and that's just because I never cleaned my lowly Vifi mat in between. So some of the blue that was already on the mat ended up showing up inside the paint skin, but that's okay. I'm gonna work with it. I can do some embellishing on here with maybe some black sparkle, and I think that'll look good. So I need my Mod Podge. I'll just go grab it. Yeah, I got my Mod Podge. I always call it Mod Podge, but it's actually Mod Podge. And this stuff is really great versatile glue. And another thing to have on hand when you're doing your paint skins over a book cover is to use some parchment paper. And parchment paper is just great to protect the pages inside. So what I'll do is I'll put this inside the book, close the lid, and that way while I'm gluing this lid, I'm not going to get glue on any of the pages. Just kind of helps to kind of protect that and make sure we don't glue the pages of paper together. Okay, just need, I'm going to grab a nice big brush. This one I could have cleaned a bit better. You just grab a nice wide brush, because this is a fairly large book. For a smaller brush, or for a smaller book, you could use a smaller brush. And that's pretty much where I want the book cover to be. So see if we can get a little bit of glue. This stuff is super great for gluing paint skins to your cabochons on your jewelry, or any kind of paint skin onto books. I like Mod Podge for that. And make sure to get right in the grooves here, like right in here with the glue, because you really want that paint skin to cover that whole area. So this is why the parchment paper is really good, to protect the rest of your book. Alright, so I'm going to pull this over, and because I know that I have glue right here, I'm going to push that down in there and really just press on it and flatten it out, and make sure you get it right in that groove there. You're going to find that the paint skins are kind of malleable and they will stretch a little bit. So I put a little bit more glue right there and spread that out. And you just want a nice layer of it. You don't want it to be thick. You don't really need it to be thick. So just thin it out like so. Spread it out. If you get a goopy piece, just pull that out. Whoops, that didn't work. There we go. And just like that. You don't need too much Mod Podge, but a nice even coat. Beautiful. And then just make sure to stretch that a bit and push down. You're going to see I even got it over the corner here. That's going to dry, so I'm not really too worried that I put it on the corner. That'll just make a nice seal right there. Because after I'm done gluing this down, I'm going to have to put a layer of Liquid-X gloss on it anyways. So, perfect. So that's going to dry. Now we're going to flip it over in order to do the other side and glue that down. So because I've already glued this, what I might have to do is get another piece of parchment paper. Parchment paper works really good to help with protecting things, and I use it for the paint skins because they don't stick to it. Of course, my parchment paper is near the end and it's rolling up. There we go. Let's just put the scissors here. The isopropyl alcohol, hold that. Alright, the back side now. So we've glued the front on. And I didn't do the spine of it yet, so I'm going to use the same parchment I used for the front side just to protect the inside here, making sure I don't re-glue the parchment paper to it. And right here you want to make sure to get enough glue on the spine. So make sure you get good coverage on the spine of your book with the glue. Don't worry about going over the edges just yet, and then you also want to make sure you get it right in that groove. Just like so. Good coverage, and then just spread that out as best you can. Put quite a bit of glue on here. Just gonna spread it really quickly. We'll be able to do the whole back. Mod Podge will dry, just like so. Beautiful. Okay. So now what you want to do is you just want to pull up on your paint skin and just make sure that you get nice and stretched. So even just pushing and pulling, and don't forget about the little groove here. And the reason why I'm gluing it down while it's the book is closed is because that's where it's going to be stretched out the most for the paint skin. So here we just push down in the groove, push down on the spine, make sure everything's good and sealed. Just like so. Perfect. That looks awesome. Now you can wait until this dries before doing the inside and the edges, which is probably best, is to wait till like this portion has dried down. Doesn't take too long, just give it like 5-10 minutes. But for the sake of video, so I'm going to pull this out, put that up there. So for the next step, after this is dried for you and everything has dried down, you're going to see on parchment paper it doesn't stick to anything yet. So that's really good. Is you're going to want to flip it over the edges. So this edge, whoops, this edge, I'm just going to flip it over and leave it like that, but these edges up here are way too long to flip over. So what I want to do is I want to cut just like 1/2 inch away so that I have enough paint skin to turn and fold over. So if I just mark it right here, if I was to just do a little bit of paint skin over the edge, I could fold this portion over, have that portion there, but then I would have an issue with the book cover here, so I'm going to have to cut it no matter what. So in just looking here, I might leave it and then just cut it straight right here. Might look really cool. So that it just, yeah, let's see, that might look pretty cool. So if I cut it right there, let's lean that against there. Then I can fold this whole piece over, kind of be like an artsy cover. Just like that. Okay. I'm going to show you guys what I'm kind of figuring here. So what I'm figuring is that I would fold this over and then it would be just kind of a straight line and it would kind of look artsy like this with this folded over here. Now if you don't want that look, you could definitely just have it folded over like this, fold over about 1 inch, and then glue a piece of paper inside over top to hide it. Is definitely an option. I kind of don't mind the paint. Might leave that. Might leave it. So for the rest of it, you're going to have to cut along here because you're just going to fold over a little bit here. Kind of tuck it in the back. So I don't really need to have it super long. Maybe like 1/4, 1/2 inch I'd say. Yeah, 1/2 inch would work. paint skins are really stretchy, so do not be afraid of pulling on them and stretching them out a bit. Oh, and you gotta be careful it doesn't stick to itself. The front one, I don't know if I want to push that over. I think I might just cut it straight. Yeah, I don't like how this looks right here. So I think for the front one, I'm just going to peel it over and maybe cut it straight right there. So we'll just cut along the edge. Like that. And then this piece you can use to create some jewelry or whatnot with this piece of paint skin. So we'll throw that over there for now. And let's work on the top portion of the book. Loving what all these cells are looking like right here. Now I do love the edge of this top part. So I might actually do the same thing I did to the bottom here on the top part and just fold it over. So I'll have to line up with that. Cut a nice straight line to there. And then I'll just cut my 1/2 inch off from the book. If you cut it a little bit too far away is better than cutting it too close. So if you're worried, just cut it a little more and then you could always trim it later. Okay, we gotta be careful of that piece. Just flip it just like so. I even like this side. It's so pretty. Super pretty. Do I keep it or do I cut it off? I think I'm going to keep this side too, and I might cut off this bottom piece. I'm not as in love with the bottom. So with this one, line it up, cut it straight, just like that. And even this little piece I can use for stuff. And there. Now this I gotta be careful that this doesn't stick to this parchment paper is not cooperating. And that's just because it was the end of the roll. So it's super wants to roll back on itself. Just gonna fold it over. I tape it, but you can't really tape parchment paper. Okay, you're gonna see that right here the Mod Podge is already kind of dried, which is awesome. So that means that this is all nice and dried down. Looks really cool. Oh yeah, and I think I was gonna cut that off. I wasn't loving it. Wasn't loving this edge, so I think I will. Alright, now we're ready for the inside. And because this is pretty dry, it's basically the same process. You just take your brush, and I'm going to glue these edges down on the inside. Now, I don't want to do a whole bunch of glue because it's not the entire book cover, so I'm just pouring a little bit out. And I gotta make sure that I get even on the edge right here, because you want to make sure that that glues down. Now don't worry if you go over. Like I said, Mod Podge, it dries clear, so it shouldn't be an issue. if you go over a little bit. Let's just make sure to get all this covered right there, and this area here where it's gonna sit gets covered, and then you just fold it over. Just making sure it gets good contact, and fold the whole thing over and down. You're probably going to get glue on yourself, but it's not too bad. And this part you might have to keep pushing on it to make sure that it stays down and adhered to the book. Just like that. And then we have one little piece of it glued down. You're going to find that the paint skins too are, you know, you got to be careful that they don't stick to themselves. They're still quite sticky and tacky. And until you get that last layer of Liquitex gloss on it, it's going to kind of stick to itself. Or you could use Mod Podge too for this. So like I can use Mod Podge to cover back over the paint skin to protect it. Just like this. So you can use Liquitex gloss or you can use Mod Podge itself and just do a nice coat over your paint skin with it. And that way your paint skins won't dry out, they won't warp, and it won't get brittle on you, and it'll look really good. Now we got to do this part. I'm just going to keep going around. So basically you're just going to go around, you're going to fold all these edges over, and we'll just cover the whole thing with Mod Podge after. Mod Podge, not Mod Podge. Mod Podge. I always say the wrong thing when I call it. That's, you get what I'm saying. Okay, so now we're down to the tricky part. After you've glued down all of the sides and stuff, basically it's just right here where the book binding is with all the pages. So I just have a little bit of extra skin left here to glue down. And the easiest thing to do is you just kind of got to manipulate the paint down the best you can and squish it in there. Sometimes you have to cut a little bit. Like this piece is just a little bit too long, so I'm just gonna shorten it up a bit. And you kind of got to do some little minute changes. So I snip right here where the two edges are. I just cut right down to the edge there, and that way I can fold this paint over, and I leave the back spine part for last. So you grab a little bit of your Mod Podge. You don't need a huge amount for this area. And I find it helps when I have the book upright like this. So I'm showing you from above, but, or you can get two boxes and kind of put the pieces on there. And you want to be careful you don't glue all your pages right here. You don't want to glue those. So you just want to put glue just where you're going to put this paint skin down in this fine little area here. And I just squish it down, kind of make sure it sticks there. Do the bottom side. So I'll just grab a little bit more Mod Podge. Glue this side down right here. Just like that. And then just squish that side down. And if you have to, just hold it for a few seconds. Like this piece here isn't quite sticking down, so I might just hold it for a couple seconds just to make sure that it really stays down. Take your time with it, just have some patience, because the Mod Podge does take a little bit, or Mod Podge, I'm still going to say Mod Podge. I always say Mod Podge. It takes a little bit of time to just kind of glue. And once you get those two sides down like that, then it's just this piece back here that has to be glued down. So I grab a bit more glue and I just put it right there on the back spine to fold it over, making sure I don't get any on the pages here. And I'm also using a smaller paintbrush also, by the way. So I'm just going to manipulate it so that it sticks down in there. And this might be the part where it's kind of good. You can use your fingernails to really stretch that paint skin so that it sticks right in there. And there's actually a little gap here between the pages and the back spine. So I'm kind of trying to tuck the paint skin in right here into that back spine part, and that way I can just hide it in there. For the most part, you're never even going to look at this little portion of your book, but it's just nice to finish it off really nice. And if you have to, just keep pushing it down and holding it in there, and then obviously let this dry before maybe trying the other side, because you might have to actually like hold it like this and hold it in there. But that is how I finish it off for that little part right there. And it's looking really, really good. So I let the sides dry. And I haven't Mod Podged over the front yet, just the inside book. But they dried really nice and it looks really good. So I'm going to show you guys. Well, that's not exactly dry yet, but it's okay. And then basically what you would do is you would Mod Podge or Liquid-X gloss over it. But I'm going to show you what the book looks like. So we're going to move it. And I'm going to refocus you guys. There we go. So here's the book. I think it looks pretty awesome. Can't remember what side is what, but I think this was the front. And I love it. I think it's so pretty. Reminds me of like a lion. Might do some, maybe put my name here, or I might sell it. I might put glitter of a lion on here. Embellish it a little bit. So this is the inside. You'll see the Mod Podge is dried clear and it protects it. So I still have to, sorry, my phone just dinged. I still have to Mod Podge the front and the back of the cover, and I gotta finish up the top here. I haven't glued that down yet. But you'll see once it's done how pretty this looks. And even on the inside, I really love this. So if you didn't want to see this, like the paint dripping over, you can just cut a piece of black construction paper and glue it on the inside right here. And that would totally work. So you can see the spine, everything's glued down. The back of the book looks really awesome. The back page, all coming together. This is gluing down. So I'll finish it off, but all in all, if I show you, whoops. So there is like the full book. That's the whole cover. I think it looks awesome. Really pretty. I love the bright gold and this iridescent orange and the black colors of it. I think it looks pretty cool. So I hope you guys have fun creating your own paint skin books. And I just want to say a huge thank you everybody for watching, subscribing, liking, commenting, giving me a thumbs up if you like the videos. Thank you so much, and thank you for using my Amazon links, and they're in the description. There's a whole bunch of great info in there. So I hope you guys have fun. Use up your paint skins, cover a book. Whoops, sorry. cover a book, make a beautiful book cover with it, and I hope you guys have fun creating. Thanks, guys.